What is up, everybody? I am Courtney.
I'm Sean.
We're from Hill City Paranormal, and we have been waiting on this day for several weeks.
Unpatient. Better word.
Unpatiently?
Unpatiently. That's the word for tonight.
The word for tonight. Unpatiently. We don't know what it means, but it doesn't matter.
Not patient.
We have tonight with us.
We're making up shit.
The ghost hunting housewives.
Woo! In the house.
Everybody, round of applause. So I have to ask, I've got to ask the $1 million question. How did you get the name? I know my mind wants to go to obvious.
Yeah.
There's a story for everything.
Yeah.
So we had both single moms before. And we ended up, remarrying and moving on to another marriage. And our second marriage, we ended up getting to be housewives. And we got to actually enjoy going and traveling and having, all these adventures together. And so with me, I'm a military spouse. So, and Carol, her husband, was running the pipeline. So we got to travel.
Your husband, thank you. Sorry to interrupt.
That's okay. And so we got to travel around and, I'd tell my husband, hey, take leave. I'm going to see Carol. She's close by, or, Carol's coming over. Don't expect to see me. So we ended up we've been investigating for 22 years together. So we started the Ghost Hunting Housewives it is 4 years ago. We created the Ghost Hunting Housewives, and now the husbands are getting closer to retirement, so they're expecting us to take the role over as not being housewives anymore. So.
And you guys have a third member that unfortunately isn't able to join us tonight, which she will be missed. Amy.
Yes.
It's always been the two of us up until recently.
Yeah, until January, it's always been the two of us. And so we brought in Amy when we found out that our ancestors were all connected. We were all related and many centuries ago. And so we were like, oh, she's our cuz. And so we brought Tuck in after investigating with her for about 2 years. We investigated with Tuck off and on. And we're like, oh, we're going to bring her in. We got to bring cuz in. So, and it's pretty awesome because when we start doing spirit box sessions and things like that, we'll say our names, but it usually comes across as cuz. We actually got it at the battlefield a couple weeks ago, and it came across cuz. I'm like, oh, look, it's talking to Tuck.
The triangle is now complete.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, that is awesome. I think our team is not related at all, but I need to get with you to get the advice on how to become a housewife.
I got a lot of information. I can definitely, we'll talk later.
Yeah.
Is he going to mute me now?
How we cut this off? This is the shortest podcast we've ever done.
Oh, thank you all for coming. It was wonderful. Fabulous.
The secrets will be disclosed.
This is a secret to the shortest podcast. Here we go.
The secrets will be disclosed at a later time.
That's a members only club. Okay,
yeah.
So we'll have to do that.
You don't have the right parts.
And y'all are the only members.
You don't have the right parts for this.
Moving on. Next question.
How can you hate from outside the club? Can't even get in.
I don't want to get in.
We'll sell tickets. It'll be fun.
We got a few male ghost hunting housewives.
We do have a lot of male ghost hunting housewives. They will claim their ghost hunting housewife status, and
wear their shirts.
They wear them shirts proudly. I mean, all over the world.
I will order a shirt. You need it for fat people though. You need a big one.
Hey, we make it for all shapes and sizes. It's okay.
All right, I will wear one. I will order one.
We're talented.
We did. So we've got, men, women, it's for everybody. And it's like the number one thing. Everybody wants to know about ghost hunting housewives.
Yes.
It's like,
So you gave us the brief version. How long? You said you've been investigating for how many years now? 22
years. Yes.
Yeah.
Hi, Richard. Richard said, hello, kids. Thank you.
Hi,
Hey,
Richard.
Richard.
That's our buddy.
That's one of our
What's up,
buds.
Richard?
Tell
So
Colleen we said hi.
22 years is a really long time.
It is. And we've
And-
been best friends for that long.
And that's even more commendable because not a lot of people, not a lot of women. Okay, I'm going to speak from a woman's standpoint. Not a lot of women get along for that long.
I'm about to exit
Well,
this.
we were drunk for the most part of that first.
Look,
Yeah, we used to be
Why-
drinkers.
We used to
Sean,
be
drink
drinkers.
Hey,
And
Ron.
uh, we left that behind. So but no, we
you
did.
left what behind?
We left the
Drinking.
drinking and the partying. We're old now, so
So we were talking about that actually. Sean and I were just talking about that the other day. I said, I lead a very boring life now.
mhm.
Once I got out of that party scene, it was like a lot of
We
friends.
chase other spirits now. Yeah.
Yeah,
Different kind of spirit now.
Yep.
yeah, exactly. And right now I'm at a point in my life where I do feel like I get along with ghosts better than I do actual people.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I have
100%.
great conversations.
Oh, I love the dead. The living, I can't handle that. Living just
That's why I think it's commendable that you guys have been best friends for that long.
we have seen people come and seen people go, and we connected on a totally different level to the point we actually had a few people do a reading on us, and we have lived 7 lives together.
Wow.
So we are so connected at soul level that we have lived 7 lives together.
That's
We
amazing.
finished each other's sentences. We Google the same things at the same time. We have
It's kind of
telepathic
scary
tendencies. Yeah, it can get pretty scary at times because, like, I told her just now, I was like, before when she was cooking dinner, I said, you need to go put your glasses on. She said, I know, because I just boiled stuff over on the stove. I was like, I know. So it does get kind of spooky sometimes. It's we're connected in so many different levels that even her mom will say that the reason that we weren't blood sisters is because our parents couldn't handle us as that. So
You
but
probably
we
murdered one of us.
oh yeah,
before that.
definitely 100%, because we just we did go through some crazy times.
And I'm not a housewife, but I love the title.
Anyone can be a housewife. I mean, if anyone has played, and that's it, so many people play so many titles in life, and I think that's more of it is like, people always put a housewife as somebody that stays home. But that's not it, because look how many places that we play, chef, we play, chauffeur. I mean, it's just something that so many people, and not just wives, but husbands do as well. And, somebody's got to play it, and we just all have our own place. Yeah,
Yes, you are.
Richard and Colleen.
They're great.
They're great. We love EVP. But it is, and everybody can be a housewife. Everybody can be a housewife.
Practically, I work from home. So I guess technically I'm a housewife. I just have a job.
And that's it, and that's us. Like, my son, I worked in the medical field, and, when my husband and I got married, I was working in the ER as a single mom of a 5-year-old. And we got married, and I still, my son came along, and I'm a nurse to him 24/7.
That's right.
I'm always on the go, always doing something. Everybody's needing me somewhere, but, so everybody can be a housewife.
So
Hang out by myself all the time.
backing it up. So you're a nurse?
I did. I worked in emergency medicine for 8 years.
To step away from nursing, though, to become a ghost hunter.
Well, I had a lot of experiences in the hospitals.
Sure.
And Carol actually was the first one to have her first near-death experience. She had her near-death experience a few years before I did, but I ended up having to leave the medical field because I flipped my vehicle 5 times and was entrapped upside down in a sardine can for 2 hours. So, yeah. And so I ended up leaving the medical field and started taking care of my family and my kids. And, it kind of was another awakening for me as well as Carol when we had our traumatic near-death experience, and it was exactly the same. They were actually the same spirit guides that were with her, and her guardian was the same one that was with me. So we actually have the same one, which is kind of strange. But
Wow. And Carol, yours was a car accident as well?
Yes.
See, that's crazy. That's completely, like you said, that's a friendship beyond.
Oh yeah, like she can hurt, and I'm like, you need to quit. You need to take something for your headache because I'm done with this.
Wow.
There's Amy. We love you, Tuck, and we wish you were here.
Yes, Amy. Hi.
I told
What's
you
up,
to lock
Amy?
those kids and animals in a cage and get on here.
Yeah.
I sent you the link. It's open. So if you get free, we will be on till about 10 o'clock. Feel free to hop on whenever.
Come on in here.
D, hello, D.
D Downs.
That lovely lady right there happens to be Sean's mom.
Aww.
So
Nice.
that's Mama D.
Mama,
Everybody,
I love you.
that's Mama D. And she tries to hop on all of our podcasts. But okay,
Mom,
all right.
Carol's mama does that too.
We convinced Amy. She said give her 15 minutes.
The door is open. Come on in here.
Yep, check your email and hop on in.
We got some fried chicken and cornbread up in here.
Hey, now we're talking about food, okay? I love food. We talk about this on all of my podcasts.
Crystal's attention.
Now
Hey,
we're
I'm
talking
fat.
about
I like to eat.
food. I like fried chicken, some cornbread, some collard greens.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We got collard greens, mashed potatoes, mustard greens, all up in here.
Oh yeah, you and Crystal are gonna be great friends. She's from Alabama.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
We got to go down there and eat some
Dirty South Alabama, down in the dirty South. We all the way in the deep South.
The great Hank Williams Sr. is from.
Chloe.
Actually,
hi,
I only
Chloe.
live 10 minutes from where he lived. Yep.
Yeah, we are coming one day to visit his gravesite.
I am
one-
10 minutes
I
just
got a
across the
tattoo
river.
on me somewhere right there.
Really?
I
I actually usually sing at least one song at every investigation. That was Hank Sr. It is one of my triggers that I try to use and, entice some spirit activity is singing. And so I always do a Hank Sr. or one of those old country songs.
Amy.
Hey, we're here then. We're here because old country's
Mom's
where I'm
not
at.
here yet. Hopefully she
Yes,
can
we can talk about food all night long.
Oh, yeah.
But we need to get off the country music. We'll talk later. About
Oh, yeah, let's do it.
Chloe said she's cooking in the background too. I love it. Everybody's cooking and eating dinner.
The
This is
ghost
great.
hunting housewives and everybody's cooking dinner and eating. That's just see, it was meant to be for all of you to be here watching us tonight.
Yeah,
We're on my level.
I'm having a bad. I don't just y'all are making me hungry. Linda said, "Yes, Linda, me too." Because I have not eaten dinner yet. We stopped for a snack earlier before our meeting, but dinner is definitely in the near future.
Yeah.
So back to the ghost hunting housewives.
Yes.
So you both had, backing it on up a little bit, you both had near-death experiences, both the exact same car accidents. It pulled you out of nursing. It was an experience for you, Carol. Is this what really, was that the like breaking point where you were like, I want to start investigating the paranormal on a deeper level? Or were you already investigating prior?
We were already investigating prior. And I believe it opened up a whole nother world for us. Carol actually can tell you her part. I got a deeper connection with the spirit world. And I know a lot of people that do have near-death experiences end up getting a deeper connection. I have had gifts my entire life. So, having somebody come in my bedroom and start talking to me at 3:00 in the morning as a child was nothing unusual for me. And so having that near-death experience, though, did deepen my connection to the spirit world. I mean, I've had so many people I've met only once, and I was having a dream about, this person. And I'm like, I called her up. I'm like, are you okay? And she's like, I'm not. I'm like, well, let's talk about this. So
Right.
it did. And Carol had experiences and she can tell you more about hers. But yeah, I think it did draw us closer into and pull us closer into the paranormal community.
Like
Well,
I
I'd love to
always
hear
say.
your side of that, Carol, before I touch on what you said, Crystal.
Oh, well, like I used to say, I thought I was batshit crazy for a long, long time. And then I met Crystal, and because I,
Realize she was crazy too?
yeah, yeah, oh, we're gonna be
Very
good
much.
friends.
We're gonna be best friends.
We're gonna be best friends. But yeah, I like the first 5, 6 years of my life, we lived in a very, very old house in Alabama, very haunted. And but nobody ever talked about anything. And so I was like, don't know. And then met Crystal, and boy, talk is crazy. But and then started talking to Crystal, and then I realized, okay, well, either I'm not crazy or we're both freaking
We're both
crazy.
crazy. And yes, we are both crazy,
But I
but
have
we
a
could.
tendency to pick up on feelings, like how people pass. So then
She got, powed in the head once in the middle of a restaurant. That was pretty intense.
yeah, that one was a really big one. We always talk about it, and just sitting in a restaurant eating, and my head, I won't do it now because my
Yeah,
neck.
I'll
But
do it for you. It went
you do it.
like this. And she said
Someday,
she said she felt something go straight
Holy
through her
crap.
brain. It felt like something shot through her head. And we
wow.
actually were in a restaurant that is named after some mobster style
Monster
people.
style.
Oh, so we know what
Um,
happened there.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so she doesn't remember. I knew instantly something was going on because I was sitting next to her and I looked at her. I'm like, "You good?" She goes, "I don't know. I think I was just shot in the head."
And that's definitely not something you want to hear because now you're checking
No.
her in the middle
And
of
I'm
a restaurant.
like,
Right.
Now everyone else was like, "What?" And I'm like, "You need to go to the bathroom." She's like, "Yeah, I do." So she gets up, goes to the restroom. She doesn't remember going until she gets
Yeah.
halfway back. She's like, "What happened?" I was like, "You were shot in the head."
Wow. Well,
That's
the
why
reason
we
that
are.
I had to ask that question is because I've heard that a lot. And Dee
Mhm.
actually asked the question, is it true that your life is a flash in a near-death experience?
Yes.
Absolutely.
I have not
Absolutely.
had any, well, that's a lie. I had one near-death experience when I was in my very early 20s.
Mhm.
It was not a car accident or anything like that. I was not to get too personal, but I was having a miscarriage.
Okay.
And just the 1 minute I was standing and calling for help, and the next minute the paramedics were over the top of me
Mm.
and with the paddles, and I cannot relate to that because I don't remember anything in between.
You were so in and out of it. I
So
kept consciousness until they completely put me medically under. I was actually it was some of my dearest best friends in the entire world that actually came to extricate me out of the vehicle. And they didn't even know it was me because the vehicle was completely encased around me and smushed around me. And so they didn't know it was me until I started hearing names and I was calling out to them. I was like, Kevin, it's Crystal, and, Daughtry. I was just naming multiple people that were there. I was like, Captain Dean. And they even took a brief moment of like, oh my gosh, this is our friend, this is our sister. And they came to extricate me. So when they got me in the helicopter, I was like, you're not cutting my favorite Under Armour tennis shoes off me. This is my favorite shirt.
it's always the worst when you go to the ER and they have to cut something off.
Yeah, I knew exactly as soon as they got me in the helicopter to life flight me out of there, I looked at Greg and I was like, you are not cutting my favorite Victoria's Secret bra off of me.
Yeah.
He's like, good night, cheerum.
The last thing I remember is like a tall, dark figure just telling me everything will be okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I remember. And
A
then,
dark
like,
figure.
Yeah.
yeah, just a dark figure. We both have the same one.
We
But
both have the same exact one. And it actually caressed my face. So people automatically always assume, and I think that was another aha moment, because everyone always assumes that dark figures are dark entities.
Right.
Or, and it's not the case with us. It actually, with
it
Carol,
made me feel better.
it was our
wasn't so
guardian.
scared.
Like he was watching over both of us. he kept telling Carol, help is on the way. Everything's going to be fine. Help is on the way. Well, mine was actually in the vehicle caressing my face and said, it's okay, baby. Everything's going to be okay. Your friends are on their way.
Yeah. And I remember the dark figure.
Wow.
And then the next thing is Crystal telling Crystal I had to pee.
I was like, you peeing, girl. They got you a catheter in. You go and just let it
I woke
go.
up in a room and I'm like, I gotta pee, I gotta pee, I gotta pee.
And she was hungry, so I had to go get her some Hardee's.
That's right.
Wow.
That's right. That is crazy though, because the movies depict a definite difference scenario. They depict a white figure coming down, kind of shaped like an angel, telling you it's all going to be okay, and then the next thing you know, you're fine.
That's
So
Saw
to
a
know
dark
that
one.
to know that entities, good or bad, could come in all shapes and sizes.
And even as a kid, we had an older gentleman, and I only know he was older because that's just the feeling as a child that I got from this spirit, was him having that older, like, grandfather, like, you need to shape up, little girl,
Right.
and I mean, there was multiple times that I was a spitfire then too, I was always getting in trouble, little rebel child. And I think I took something from my sister once. I say I didn't, but she went outside to go and tell my grandparents that I had taken a toy from her, and I was running behind her to defend my honor because I had to tell them that I was playing with it first. And as I went around into the living room, this grandfatherly like spirit called out my name, and when everyone walked into the house, I'm standing there with my hands on my hip telling them, but it's not my fault. Let me tell you what happened.
So we're talking to a wall, essentially, right?
Yeah, essentially to everyone else but it's been, the gifts that I have were passed down from my grandmother and so on and so forth. So most of my family have had gifts. And so for me and for them, it was nothing new. They're like, all right, she sees something we don't, so.
Right.
I was actually, even being from the South, I was actually one of very few that were allowed to embrace my gifts. Now, I wasn't allowed to share with people outside of the home, but I was able to talk about it freely inside of the home.
Which is opposite of what Carol said. Carol said, growing up, it just kind of, we don't talk about it.
Well,
Yeah.
I think my mother probably does. But she never said anything. She's just recently, she'll go hunting with us and investigating with us. And it's like she's been doing it her whole life. And she has a lot of things happen to her. So I'm pretty sure. And then possibly my grandmother, but they were like the big Catholic family.
I was going to say, and you're in Louisiana, so a lot of that stuff probably was very taboo because of all like the voodoo and stuff that went on down there.
Yeah. And so Carol grew up not far from where I grew up in the panhandle of Florida. She just recently moved to Louisiana in 2018. So we do enjoy going over to Louisiana, and I mean, some of the history there of
there's so much history.
The Haitian Creole, the French, I mean, so on and so forth. But it is absolutely a phenomenal place. Like, you drive into the state and it instantly like, oh, we're gonna have fun tonight.
You just know.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if we still drank?
I know.
Who knows what you'll see at that point, right?
But most of the panhandle from, Texas over to, I would say, about Tallahassee area, most of those were, you can go to many older cemeteries and see like oyster shells and things like that. A lot of the older heritage, and, voodoo was all the way over even into Savannah. So most of the South was very, very, they had their voodoo queens and their voodoo culture. So yeah,
that's interesting. I've always been interested in that. We frequent Savannah a lot, so we are very familiar with
Savannah.
absolutely. That's always a great time. I feel like every time we go, I do something that I forgot to do the previous time. Like there's so much stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the history down there, just in Florida alone, too. I mean, the haunted history, rather.
Oh yeah,
is crazy.
definitely. Right now I'm about 5 hours from Savannah. So, I'm right here in Montgomery, Alabama, right in central Alabama. But, being from South Alabama and being right there on the panhandle, the historical, architecture here, it's phenomenal. I did love living in the northern states up in Maryland and the DMV area, because of the history. I got a different, being a historian, you got to actually see and take on, seeing where the nation was founded and finding your ancestors back to the 16 and 1700s. And so I did enjoy that. I enjoyed being able to jump into the DMV and look into archives and historical societies and such there. But I was glad to get back home.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
So
it's a lot closer. Makes things easier.
Definitely.
Now you guys are how far away from each other? An hour, maybe?
We're about 5 hours. About 5 hours.
Okay.
Nothing really.
Better than the 14 and 16.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
But at some points it wasn't too bad because I would be like up north. And so we were a
Exactly.
little closer.
Like she'd be in Pennsylvania and I'd be 2 hours away in Maryland, or, she'd be over in Duluth and I'd be like, all right, got my plane ticket, be over in a little bit,
Not very far.
Mm-mm, not at all.
Mhm.
You guys investigate. What type of equipment do you like to use? Like, what's your favorite piece of equipment that you take with you?
Carol's
Hotel.
REM pod.
I love the old trusty REM pod.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Carol actually makes the REM pod that we take on all of our investigations, and we actually sell at most of our events and our guest appearances. So,
Okay. Carol makes the REM pods.
She does. Yeah.
What are they?
You got one close by?
I was going to say, can we see one?
Yeah, hang on.
But they do. They're proximity sensors, and we tell everyone that our biggest thing is when most people start investigating the paranormal is they think they need to go out and spend thousands upon thousands of dollars when you don't really have to get started.
Cool.
Oh, no.
It's compact.
Everyone loves it. You just toss it in your purse.
Now,
Yeah,
does the antenna come off?
there's the battery. No, it just
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I know, like,
And
a
we have
regular
it, and the
pod is-
reason why, one of the reasons why, is because most of the ones that you see, the battery packs are on the outside. We wanted one on the inside so we could toss it in our purse or throw it in our backpack and not worry about knocking off a battery pack or so 9-volt battery pack right there inside.
Now, you said you sell this at like Paracons and things like that, but do you have a website or an Etsy store?
We did. We could not keep the demand. We would list 20 and they'd be gone in a day. So we were star sellers on Etsy for like, I don't know, a year and a half, because every time she would make the REM pods, they would sell out. I mean, we ship, Canada was one location, all over the United States. And then we take anywhere from 25 to 30 to every con, and they're sold out. We can't keep them in stock. So there was just no way for her to keep up doing it by herself. So now we got Tuck, though. Tuck is helping her out.
Tuck, she's going to start doing lights for me. But all the holes and everything are cut by hand.
She does everything by hand.
Tools and
Wow.
all that. So, yeah.
That is neat.
Nice.
Yeah, that is super neat. So if somebody wanted to order a REM pod, that's tuned in right now, could they just message you maybe on the Ghost Hunting Housewives, or do they need to actually attend a con?
They could try. I mean, if we have some left over, then they could reach out.
We list them.
We could. And then here comes Tuck. But
there she is.
They're mainly
Tuck.
I'm in my car.
After the spaghetti, she's got to go take a drive.
No, I'm getting away from the little heathens.
So this is the part that people fail to realize about housewives. Housewives and moms
We
have
hide in
to have
cars
a
and
retreat. They hide in cars. I'm a mom of 4, so I'm with you, Amy. I've
Mhm.
been there. I've been there. Bathrooms,
Mhm.
Yes,
Closets.
I
yes.
told her to cage everybody.
I want to get my own
Small
life-size
cage.
dog kennel so I could just like lock myself in. Everybody else can watch what's going on inside the dog kennel.
Oh my
Yes,
God,
Watch
that's
me.
yes.
Mhm.
hilarious. Well, Amy, welcome. Amy is now the complete triangle is here.
Yes.
Sean was just asking Crystal and Carol what their favorite piece of equipment is to use when investigating. So we're going to ask you the same thing.
Let's
Carol,
see.
same thing to you.
I was giving you a hint. Hint.
It's like after I burnt my fingers, I don't know about that.
For real, right? Jeez. I like the spirit box. I like the dowsing rods. I like the things we build. That thing that burned my fingers, and I don't want to talk
REM
about it
pod.
right now. Yeah, that REM pod. Thank you.
Mhm.
I told
Dowsing
her
rods.
dreaming about those.
It
And
takes a lot of talent to use dowsing rods.
It does. And
I
we actually started we tried actually a few weeks ago in Jasper, Georgia. We went in complete deprivation of our senses. We put noise canceling headphones on, we blindfolded ourselves, held them as still as possible, and then let questions be asked on the outside to see, because a lot of times people are like, oh, well, you see it and you hear it. So your mind's like, oh, let's subconsciously make these move. So we attempted to go another route and go in complete deprivation, and it was actually a great experiment. So
interesting.
Mhm.
So before we get to Dee's question really quick, Linda wants to know what the cost of your REM pod is, Carol.
Oh, they're 45.
Okay.
45. And
That's a good price.
Yeah, that is a good price.
That's a really
Yeah.
good price.
they may
Mhm.
be going up because we're going to be adding a few new features to them, but
Okay.
that's
Oh Lord.
What's the new feature?
Tug's like, oh Lord. I mean, it's not. I wouldn't actually say a new feature. I might change some things like the power buttons and stuff like that.
Mhm.
A different way that I'm going to do some antennas and stuff. It's just things
Excuse
that
me.
are going on up here.
Ideas.
She's always out there in the lab building something.
Yeah. So
And I'm just
That's
giving
why she can't move
ideas.
her neck. I'm just saying.
Ronnie's in here, Bedford Paranormal. Shout out Bedford Paranormal. And I don't know if I shouted out Fredericksburg Paranormal earlier, but if not,
hi guys.
Fredericksburg Paranormal. Hello. But to get to Dee's question, I don't know if you guys can see it up on the screen. I will let you take the whole stage with that one.
All right. This is what we tell everybody in every class that we teach and every public speech that we give, is that the number one piece of equipment that you could ever have is yourself. Because you know yourself better than anybody else. Your intuition will guide you wherever you need to go. And it will give you the answers that you're seeking. If you feel like something is following you, I can guarantee you it probably is. If you feel like something is watching you, I can guarantee you it probably is.
Yeah.
I agree.
So we tell everybody that, trust yourself. Use the feelings that you have, and let that guide you, because that is the best piece of equipment that you could have, is yourself.
Yeah.
Oh, he said amen. Dee said hells yeah. I agree with that statement. I do agree. We actually got into a conversation in our meeting this evening, where I brought up something that I always try to tell everybody is when I'm investigating, I try to use the trifecta effect. So if I've got a REM pod that's going off,
Mhm.
I feel like there's an energy in the room. The REM pod's going off. It's intelligently going off, as far as like I'm asking questions and it's responding within a timely fashion, and say, I don't know, throw out another piece of equipment.
K2.
A K2
Yeah.
is also
Mhm.
responding. Now I've got 3 pieces in one room, one of those being myself, I can genuinely feel that energy. And then I've got 2 other pieces of equipment that are just backing up what I feel.
That's it. 100%. And honestly, if you're filming and, the world that we live in today needs that confirmation as well. They need to see that it's not just a REM pod, because so many things could set that REM pod off. And it's same for the K2 meter, so many things could set an EMF meter off from, you've got an ambulance that's 5 miles away, and the radio signals are causing it to, so many different things, vibrations,
Right.
So having your feelings and your intuition, but you need to confirm everything else that's going on. So if you have a REM pod going off over here and you ask it, hey, can you light this EMF meter up for me, make it go to orange or make it go to red, to give that confirmation, and then, go from there. So,
and you hit it right there on the head. We live in a world of people needing confirmation. So if you're posting content on the internet, I cannot do, a 3-hour investigation with my intuition for the public. It's just not going to get it. It's not going to get views. Nobody's going to care about that. I can tell you all day long that I saw a shadow figure walk by. I can tell you all day long the energy in this room is very heavy. It's very very emotional in this room. We've been in a location where, I've genuinely felt like crying. But to other people, they don't know that feeling because they're not there. So I think that's the key point with investigative equipment here, is that it is seriously just used for that confirmation.
Exactly.
That's it. It's just, needing, and like you said, it's just the world that we live in today. Constant confirmation is needing, from we've taken blatant pictures of a little girl shadow figure in a tunnel. You could see it. We outlined it in red, and they're like, I don't see it. Like, well, it's there.
So I guess that's going to lead me to my next question that I was going to ask a little bit later, is how do you feel about skeptics?
Everybody, you're going to have skeptics. And I think being from the Bible Belt states, we've grew up with skeptics. I mean, my in-laws are the biggest skeptics that there are, let's see, exactly.
Right there, Chuck.
And so, we are just like, it is what it is. I don't have to defend myself.
That's right.
If you like what
someone's throat,
exactly. If you like our content, kudos to you. If you don't like our comment, you're just going to troll away anyway. So it is what it is. I can't stop you. I'm not going to roll up to your house and be like, hey, that's we could have done that back 20 years ago, but today, but like, meet me at the Dairy Queen, okay?
That's right.
But
Sean was just about to say something though. We lost him. ADD.
Oh no, I was cutting my Wi-Fi off because it was starting to get choppy over here. But I like skeptics though, because I feel like, especially in this field, we need skeptics.
That's right.
So is that Ryan Jones?
That's Ryan Jones, the freaking awesome paranormal show.
Caretaker of the Cabin of the 360.
Yes.
We love so much. What's up, Ryan? But yeah, I like skeptics because, number one, they actually influence us to find that evidence more, I think because of skeptics, we drive harder to get that on camera. Right. If you watch a lot of our evidence we get, it's funny when we edit a lot of it out, but the first thing that happens when something happens on an investigation, I look, you get that on camera?
Yeah.
That's it, because again, it's like having that confirmation to show the world that there is something out here. Are we professionals? No one is. If we were any of us professionals, I mean, I wouldn't be talking about meeting somebody at Dairy Queen, And the first part of our conversation would have been about food.
And the next thing is we're all sort of skeptics ourselves because we debunk all of our own evidence all the
Oh
time.
yeah,
The first thing we do is we try to figure out what made our equipment go off. So
Yeah.
skeptics aren't bad. It's
Yeah.
it's the trolls that are annoying. But again,
And they are, and they're
we
going to
look
keep trolling.
we look past them. We laugh at their comments, and we sometimes I like to put a little slick comment back. That's just my personality, though. I like to,
I like that. Carol's like, you got to be good, Crystal. Don't respond. You got to be
I yell
good.
through it.
Let me tell you this. Bleep, 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 bleep. We're with you.
Carol just putting all the business out there.
Carol likes to fight. That's what it is.
That's funny.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, though, we have had a skeptic join us on an investigation one time.
Oh yeah, I
And
remember
you couldn't tell her nothing. She practiced witchcraft. Nothing could scare her. She knew everything there was to know about investigating, and she wanted to go and just see how we do things.
Mm-hmm.
that. Test us out.
So
That's it.
about an hour into investigating, the REM pod answer. And then something else happened. I don't remember what it was.
The cat balls started
Yeah, the
lighting
cat
up.
balls were lighting up like crazy.
Without
Like
moving.
we were asking, hey, if you're here, can you light up the ball? Can you just push it and light it up to let us know you want to communicate? And we got done in that particular, we had like 3 buildings to cover. And in that particular building, we were getting ready to exit. And she said, she actually said to you, she said, I think I've had enough tonight. I think I'm going to head home. And
We've actually had that as
yeah.
we've had that as well.
We had to laugh on that because I'm like, the witch couldn't hang.
Which can hang, no pun intended. But the Carol actually, her husband was the biggest skeptic, and he is he goes with us on investigations. He will investigate. He's got his own little camera rig and everything. So
love
it's
that.
pretty cool.
Stuff happened to him on an investigation. And he's like, I just can't explain it.
I can't explain it. I try to explain it. I can't.
Yeah.
So
we love investigating with skeptics. We do. I mean, when we host public investigations, or we have a location out here that they require to be there, which rightfully so. It's the museum in our town. Obviously, they're not just going to let a team loose with all their artifacts. I get that. And so the few staff members that stayed behind decided to also bring their husband and I think a friend. And the husband was a skeptic. And I know we asked him before, and then we asked him after the investigation how he felt, and those answers differed quite.
I was going to say they probably differ
quite a lot. But Carrie brought up a good point. She said, living in the Bible Belt, that she's constantly told that all entities are just all demons.
Yeah.
yes.
How do you
So
feel about
well, I'll take this one too. Y'all ready?
Oh Lord, here we go.
that?
Let me get my hair done.
I'm
All
probably
right.
gonna fall asleep.
So
I'm joking.
y'all hold on to this, all right? So my father-in-law is a Southern Baptist pastor.
I'm not allowed in their house.
Oh,
So mean and evil.
They think I'm a
Because
demon.
she talks to now. I've been doing this since I've been, before I married their son.
said she's not allowed in the house. Bless your heart, Carol. You're allowed in our house.
I know D
Come on,
Downs is
Doug.
cracking up at home right now.
And so Southern Baptist pastor, and I
Yeah.
looked at him and I said, "You are judging somebody else because of something that you're scared of and that you don't understand." I was raised in the South, and I was raised in church. I'm a different person than I was as a child. My beliefs are way different. I do not have one set belief. I believe there's a little bit of good in everything, and there's a whole lot of bad in everything.
That's right.
But I looked at them both and I said, you're saying, because they would say, oh, you're talking to the devil.
Oh,
You're talking to demons when you're talking to the spirit. And I looked at them and I said, but didn't God create all things good and evil? So if the devil's who I'm talking to, then he didn't create it. So why are you worried if I'm talking to him?
this is true.
So, they don't, they put on a good face and, try to accept everything that I do, but
They
I've
tolerate
lost
you.
a
Carol's not allowed in the house.
Carol. We were at a Paracon in my hometown, the first Paracon in my hometown, and we were going to stay there. You know, they live there, no big deal, right? No, I think it would be best if you find someplace else to stay.
Oh,
I was like, all right, we're staying with my sister. Hey, sis, we're coming over.
That wasn't very Christian. That's what
I was going to
Not very
say, aren't you
Christian.
supposed to have, we
But
just talked about this the other night,
Mhm.
a heart of servitude.
Yep. But yet he still drove to the Civic Center
Yeah.
and dropped stuff off to give to me to meet her.
And met me,
But
and he was very nice to me.
They haven't met me yet.
Oh, no. Amy said she going to try.
She the devil.
I am.
she likes to chase them wild kitty cats out in the woods.
My sister once called me the Antichrist, so there we go.
There you go.
I think everybody's sister has called them the Antichrist.
I've been called it.
I was just called the spawn of Satan. So
I grew up with my brother, and I remember, he's now passed on, rest his soul. But I remember him saying something distinctly to me. He said, "You are Satan." And I told him, I said, "Why would you say that?" This is when we got older. And he said, "Do you remember you sat me in a chair and made me sit there and watch all the Child's Play movies?" He said, "I was 4." I was like, God. He said, "I wouldn't turn off my light for so many years until I was like 17 years old." I said, "Oh my God, that was horrible."
Might be some truth to that.
I
So
mean,
apparently, Amy, I'm there with you.
Cool.
How do y'all feel about orbs? That's a question I like to ask a lot of paranormal people.
So we have had orbs that are obvious dust or particles,
Bugs.
bugs. A lot of the places we have here in the South are definitely bugs, and I know even up in the northern states there's a lot of mosquitoes and things like that on the water. But we do have those. We have got orbs that have morphed into a full-fledged man. Right in front, right on video. Like, we've got evidence on our pages. We were actually in St. Francisville, Louisiana, the Great Myrtles Plantation. And we were in the cemetery there, and we were just sitting there, and we felt we felt something, but we saw the orb, and we're filming, but we felt it rush us, like it was charging towards us, and as it did, like, we felt it push us backwards, and I actually caught it on camera, and as it rushed us, it turned into the face of an old man. You see his beard, his eyes,
Wow.
and then as I panned away from the orb, as it rushed us, I looked at a tree, and there's 2 eyes, everything like coming out of the church.
So we did a lot of investigation. So that was at night. So
Mhm.
we went back in the daytime and checked all the same places out to see if there was maybe something there. We didn't find anything. We went back again at
The next night.
nighttime
Mhm.
to do it in the rain.
And the rain, just to
In
see
the
if something was, there that could possibly cause that, whether we were in a situation where there was a big gust of wind and
Yeah,
something came
right.
flying at us, and it was just our instinct to, to move out of its way. We couldn't debunk it. We tried everything in the rain, in, the daytime, even the next morning. We tried. We could not debunk this.
But
So
we're not big on orbs, but when it's something like that, yeah.
it's undeniable,
I mean, you found it on camera.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can't really get past that.
Yeah.
Oh, good question, Carrie. Carrie said, "Have you ever?" And I want, actually, before we get to that, I do have a question. So, a lot of people describe orbs as like a round ball, and it has to have a nucleus in it
Mhm.
for it to be an orb. Is that something that you believe as well? Because, like, when we investigate, if I catch anything outside, I discredit it immediately, because it's probably, it could be fog. It could be out here. We have a lot of fog, so it could be fog, bugs, anything outside. But if I have a stationary camera in a room, and it's been sitting there. Nobody's in the room, occupying the room. It's been sitting there for over an hour, and a ball manifests out of thin air,
Mm-hmm.
gains size, and then disappears in front of the camera.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, how do you explain that? Like, where, and people are going to always be like, it's an orb. We don't believe in orbs. There is something to, with no disturbance in a room, or even 10 to 15 minutes after someone walked through a room, and then all of a sudden something shoots out of the wall and then shoots straight up and then straight back down, and then, it's gone.
Right.
And there's no way, like, it's 20 degrees, in these buildings. There is no bugs out.
Right.
No bugs out in 20 degrees.
And that's what I'm at with it. I pay attention to the pattern. I pay attention to the way it looks. Obviously bugs that come right up on the camera, most of the time you can see their wings flapping.
Exactly. If you slow that down, you can debunk it. Like,
yes. And like I said, if we're in an old 1800s house and we all walk into a room and all of a sudden now there's these things flying all over the place, I'm going to chalk that up to dust.
That's going to be dust. Yeah. And we do, like, even the location that's behind me right here. This is the Polygel here in Alabama. It was built by the Polygel company in the late 1800s. And it's very primitive. There is no electricity there. There is no running water in there. And it's basically the same way it was when it closed in the 70s. Like, the dust is thick, there's an old moonshine still in there. It's so covered in dust that you got to wipe things away to read. So we don't like utilizing any orbs that we see in this building just because there is so much dust.
Right.
You take a gust of wind that blows outside and it could easily blow into the drafty windows, and we've now disturbed again. So it depends on the location, and it also depends on, the atmosphere, because a lot of times, we're in the humid locations and you start getting these changes in the weather, and you could see, molecules of water droplets and stuff when you're filming. We've had a lot of things like that. But we've also been to where we end up, in the middle of the night getting ectoplasma just creating out of the wall, just a full mist coming up out of the wall. Like, how do you get that?
So, yeah, that happened in Fort Morgan.
Yeah.
We didn't even know.
We didn't know. And my camera Carol's camera caught it. Mine did not.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So then at that point, you've got one camera that caught it and one that didn't. So yeah, it can't be explained.
That's it.
Yeah.
So let's get on to Carrie's question here. Have you ever investigated a place that really frightened you or made you very uncomfortable? Maybe one that you, and I actually typically ask this question to all teams that we talk to. Is there any place that you won't go back to?
Not because we were frightened or uncomfortable.
Yeah. I'm sure that, if we dig back into our 22 years, there's something, but nothing that really sticks out. There's a location that that we still continue to go back to. It scared me, and usually things don't scare me, but and it's actually the one I boost the most. This past summer, I even looked at somebody and said, "Don't you leave me up here by myself." And they're like, "What? Crystal's saying that?" But it was more because I thought it was a human being and not a spirit. But I can't think of one that I just won't go back to. That sticks out to me.
I can't think of anything.
Yeah.
No, not me either.
Yeah. Like, we're like the first ones. It's like, oh, you want me to go in a basement? I'll go by myself. Dark basement, no lights. I'm there.
As long as it's not a creepy dog.
That is Sean. Sean will go anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Sean will go anywhere. He does not care. And me, I'm like, if something doesn't feel right, I'm like, Chris, don't leave me up here by myself now.
Yeah, I'm not doing it.
And that's only don't leave me up here by myself happened one time, and that was this past summer at the Polygel.
Crazy stuff.
And we sent Tuck out to go and investigate. So
yeah, they do that to me. They go, "Hey, that sounds like a real person. Go see." And I'm like,
She was a corrections officer, so
Yeah.
you know.
Didn't Carol
she
say that
can-
you like wrangle cats too or something?
do what?
Didn't somebody say something about Amy catches cats or something? Wild cats
In
or
the
something
woods.
in the woods?
Well,
So let's talk about this. So a couple weeks ago,
Talking about actual cats.
I was going for one.
and I'm not talking about a domestic, oh, look at that little kitty cat. No,
Yeah.
we're talking about bobcats, okay? We're out in the middle of a battlefield in South Alabama, and we hear a bobcat crying. And I'm like, that's a bobcat, y'all. And she's like, oh, let me go investigate. You do that. I'm going over in this other direction, okay? So we found this other hot spot during the day that we wanted to go back to and investigate. So I'm like, y'all, this cat's stalking us. This is a wild cat, and it is stalking us. And so what do? They get out of the car. And I'm like, I ain't getting out of this car. No, you give me the dead. Y'all deal with the living. I'm nope.
Is that the same thing as a Fisher cat?
No.
What is a Fisher cat?
Some things that sound like you're yelling, they're getting beat or something.
All right.
That's what they sound.
True story. We were at a buddy of his house, and his buddy has a cemetery in his yard.
No, we were fishing.
Woo!
No, we were over at
No, we were fishing off the boat.
the first time.
Yes.
Okay. Well, anyway, I heard this woman screaming, and I'm like, somebody needs help. Like somebody's literally getting brutally murdered out here. Now, mind you, go back to the beginning of this podcast when I told you I'm from California. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Carrie said a Fisher cat is a cousin to a weasel. All right. So I hear this woman screaming, and I really think that somebody's like literally out here getting murdered. And Sean looks at me and goes, it's just a Fisher cat.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, why does it sound like that? So, of course, me being me, I had to come home and Google, what does a Fisher cat sound like? And it legitimately sounds like a woman screaming.
It does.
So when you said bobcat, I had to ask because I'm like, does it scream like a Fisher cat? Like,
No, it goes.
But it does have it's not a
Sounds like a
meow.
baby.
It's
Yeah,
a
it
meow.
sounds like a baby crying. Even adult bobcats sound like baby crying.
see, animals are deceptive. So we got
They
one
are.
that sounds like a woman getting murdered, and another one that sounds like an abandoned child.
And
This is not okay.
you know, growing up, so my grandfather lived up in Martinsburg, West Virginia. So he was from the, Bunker Hill, Harper's Ferry, all of that location. And so he always told me when we'd go up to Martinsburg or to Bunker Hill, he said, if you ever hear a woman scream or a baby cry, you never answer it and you never look. And that is something I took with me, and I take it still to this day. But these girls, they're all about, oh, let's go burn a kitty cat. Let's go take it home and put it in the car. And I'm like, no.
Look, Amy was going to catch it. Carol was just there to photograph it. So
I was
you were just
taking
running to the west.
I honestly,
Chuck's the one that
growing
wanted
up,
to bring it home.
growing up, I lived out in the country. Like Carol knows where I grew up, 7 miles from in town. I was surrounded by woods. We had a cat came up, got our cat pregnant. That cat was huge, like the head is the size of a saucer. So we figured it was like half bobcat. So whenever she was tiny. She had 3 babies, and one of them, he was a big boy. And when he felt like when he got on you and was doing them biscuits that they do, it felt like he was getting tattooed.
Oh,
See?
God.
No,
See?
I was raised in the woods, but I wasn't raised to just let no bobcat up in my house. No. I had my uncle actually had one mounted and stuffed in our den, but no.
I played for a school. Our mascot was the Bobcats, so I got to rep that.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay, now we figured out why Amy.
That's what it is.
See, mine was the Eagles, so
Oh, mine too.
totally different.
The Eagles.
Oh, you said Kegels.
What?
Eagle exercises for the housewives.
I heard
That's
that all.
an exercise.
No, for some giggles.
No.
Woo, that went
I'm
left.
sorry, I heard that all
Kegels.
wrong.
That is
Well.
something that's for another day, honey.
I heard that all wrong. That's my fault.
Carrie said Native Americans believe bobcats are the keepers of secrets. That's it.
I was
Yeah.
going to go find them all out. So, I mean, why not?
They were willing and ready to go and hear all of their secrets. So
Now, if it has to do with a rope snake, that's fine. You'll see me running, and I'll push everybody out the way. But I'm cool with everything else except snakes.
Mama D said, please, I cannot a bobcat stuffed and mounted.
yeah, we had all kinds of things mounted on our walls. Like,
Yeah,
we had
a
deer
bobcat.
and big old bass, and it was just
Our school had one mounted and stuffed.
yeah. Like we even had taxidermy classes in our and. Y'all didn't have that up there?
You know you're from the South when there's a taxidermy class.
Y'all telling me y'all didn't have taxidermy classes in your career tech classes?
We had cow pastures, pig barns, hay things, John Deere tractors. You name it, we had it.
I mean, you eat it and you stuff it. That's the Southern way, I guess.
So in California, we just had like classes. And I do think there was like an agriculture class of some sort.
It's California.
But
it was probably grapes. It was probably
I don't think y'all have guns out there.
I don't know.
But I love the way she said it too. So in California.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, but hey, everybody gets jealous when I tell them that one of our field trips in middle school was Alcatraz.
Oh,
So
that's cool.
that's like all paranormal investigators want to go there. And now that I'm into paranormal investigating, I would love to take a trip back there.
No, the only thing cool she can say about California.
Actually, my 17-year-old is going into the military, and she's like, I really want to get stationed in California. And I was like, wow.
What is wrong with you? California,
Why do you want to go there?
I don't recognize it now. I haven't lived there, since middle school, but yeah, there's definitely nothing cool about California.
Now, is it true in California that they actually paint their concrete yards green? Because my grandfather was in the Navy, and he had a house over in San Diego and near Miramar, and he said that everybody painted their lawns because it was all concrete and rock, and they just painted it green.
So
it looked like grass.
No, but a lot of people's yards in California because a lot of people's yards in California is that like fake grass, that like plastic
turf.
grass.
That's how it was in Albuquerque.
Yeah,
we had turf. Yeah, the fake turf.
So ironically enough, I moved in middle school in with my dad, who's from Phoenix, Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
Now everybody's yard is nothing but rocks and cactuses. Yeah. And so now I went from from like uppity Californian over here to getting my kids black lights when they were young to catch scorpions in the yard in Arizona, because that was like a thing.
Did they have goat heads? Didn't they have goat heads over in Phoenix too? The big goat head spurs? Do they have those? Because I know they do over in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Basically, they're sand spurs for everyone in the South. But they're like this. They'll take out bike tires.
All right, cool.
They're so big.
Sand spurs.
They're sand spurs, but monstrous sand spurs.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that. But those palm tree roaches in Arizona are no, ma'am.
Black widows were big too in the desert.
Came from hell. Okay, they were like 6 inches long, and they were roaches, and they flew.
Yeah, palmetto bugs.
Those are palmetto bugs in the South. Mm-hmm.
Those aren't really roaches.
I don't know what they are, but they fly faster than me.
Yeah. We didn't have that in Albuquerque. Maybe because we were higher in altitude up in the mountains areas, but yeah, we didn't have palmettos. We didn't have mosquitoes. We didn't have any of that.
You're lucky. Mosquitoes. I don't like mosquitoes. Those are horrible here.
Yeah. Well, Louisiana, you want to go to Louisiana, down south. Basically, that's our state birds.
Yes, I will be coming with a lot of bottles of pop.
They don't care about bug spray. They drink it for cocktails.
They'll bite you through your clothes.
Oh, yeah. They drink it for cocktail. They just like, cocktail hour. Let's drink some bug spray.
Oh,
mosquitoes. Yeah.
They love me.
Living in the South is they don't care about bug spray. It's like
Amy, are you in Louisiana as well? Or Alabama?
Panhandle of Florida.
So you're Florida. Okay, so we got Florida, Louisiana. This whole like
triangle
here is literally the paranormal investigator's dream, like with locations.
Mhm.
I agree.
So, what is your favorite place to go?
Ooh.
Behind
I like
Crystal.
Poly Jail, definitely. I like Fort Morgan.
Oh, yeah.
I
You
like
know
Love
what
Fort
places.
Morgan.
Robert is? The
No,
doll?
no, that's in
Yeah.
South Florida.
Oh, okay. I know he's in Florida somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, have y'all been to see Robert yet?
No.
No. Mm-mm.
There's
Have
a
not
lot.
gone to see Robert.
There's a lot of superstition surrounding that doll. I don't
Mhm.
know.
Are y'all going to go?
I'll go. We've
I like it.
we've
Yeah,
actually
let's
been
do it.
invited down to multiple locations there. And my cousin just got stationed down in Tampa, so she's wanting us to go down. But I mean, we'll see. You
Like,
know,
we're gonna fit it.
yeah, it's like that's what we do. We're trying to juggle things around. Like, where do we put this? You know, the last couple years have just been so busy, and everybody's like, we feel like we're getting pulled in every direction. Like, okay, let's pull this one, this hour here. Last week, even we had a back-to-back paranormal. We had one, we were on the unseen paranormal, and then we hopped over to another one, and we're like, ah.
Oh, and then
So-
we had ours the next night.
And then the next night we
Yeah.
had ours. So it was like unseen paranormal, war party paranormal, and then ours.
And these are all investigations?
No,
Oh,
these were just
podcasts.
podcasts. Like
Okay.
investigations were, well, this month we were investigating on a Friday, Saturday, and then we jumped Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday investigation in the same week. So it was just like bam, 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 bam.
Wow.
Yeah.
And planning an event at the same time.
Yeah. And planning events. We have
And making equipment.
and making equipment. So but we'll get down and see Robert. So.
That's awesome, though. That's really
Yeah, I love it. And I love the fact that you guys are given the time to be able to do that. Not a lot. I mean, you guys are literally living the paranormal investigator's dream right now.
And we, I guess everybody was like, everywhere we go, we hear about the ghost hunting housewives, and we're like, we do? Like, we still look at ourselves like, oh, we're because we try to stay so humble about everything that we do. We're just down to earth, folks. And you see us on the street, say hi, give a hug, high five, I'm cool. It don't matter wherever you see me at. I'm the same way.
Are there thoughts of a TV show possibly in the future?
There are talks in the works of some possibilities of that. We are looking at a few ideas and tossing around a few others with some people. So as of right now, there is nothing on paper, so no contracts out there. But we do have a few things in the works. So
I will definitely be tuning into that for sure. For sure.
We'll bring you along, and y'all can come too.
We will join
Y'all
you.
come on down to Alabama or Florida or Louisiana, and we'll investigate. And you can say, y'all, I
You and I would
investigated
end
with
up
ghost
talking
and
about
housewives.
country music and food the whole time.
I will.
Yes.
Let me tell you, I'll be singing to hear that lonesome whippoorwill.
Listen to that voice. Okay, Crystal. I hear you. Sean, you need a coach there for the baby?
I'll bring my guitar. We can.
Oh, yeah.
So
We always
Sean
play
over
everything
here is actually a country music singer.
Oh, really?
Sean Elliott Jr. And when I heard your voice, I just looked at him. I said, same thing Carrie just said. She said duet in the future.
Okay, let's do it. Give me a
We
song.
can hit the studio.
Let's do it. I actually started singing when I was 4 years old at the VFWs here in Alabama. So
Awesome.
then I moved on to the bars, which is actually where I met Carol at.
I love it. So let's ask a couple more questions. Carrie wants to know for each of you, what was your most memorable experience, location, and experience?
Oh,
So let's start with Amy because she's sitting in the dark over there, and I feel like she's trying to get out of stuff.
Let's see. My most memorable experience. Locate. Yeah. Okay, I hear you, Polly Jill. So anyway,
That's again.
yeah, that and I've had a lot of experiences that were not during investigations that are that are memorable, but investigation wise, Polly Jill's been good. Fort Morgan's been good. Blakely's been good. So it's definitely been some interesting ones.
definitely. Good places.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we like
Miss
we like
Carol.
a lot of history. I would have to say, well, polygel is my favorite, and if you follow us, you know that polygel is probably all our favorites because we learn something new every time we're there. And I think probably I'd have to say Fort Morgan as well because we actually had something come back with us one night.
Oh
So
no.
I slept
Yes.
through it. I didn't know it. I mean, I was
she
asleep.
slept through it. She left me there to get
That's
picked
where
on
we
and
met.
tortured. Yeah, that's where we met, is at Fort Morgan. That's where we met Amy. But yeah, I'm gonna have to say polygel, but then Blakely State Park that we just got done doing for the last few days, that's gonna be another one that's gonna be a lot of investigating in our future.
Yeah, it's gonna
Yes.
keep us busy.
It's gonna keep us very busy.
Mhm. Definitely.
It's awesome.
All right, Crystal.
Well, I'm gonna go
I'm gonna-
different since y'all wanted to use those. Yes, polygel is gonna be everybody's top. I mean, that's like I think every team has that one location that they just go back to over and over again because
Right.
that's the one that they want the answers for. And that's polygel. So that is our top. But honestly, I want to get back to Savannah Theater.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, that's what we did.
So what are y'all doing in July?
We're gonna be in Paragould, Arkansas.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
We're going to be at the Scared City Presents the High Nation over in Paragould, Arkansas from July 11th through the 15th.
And that's like literally dead smack, I think, when we're going. But
Well,
we frequent Savannah. So Crystal, send me a message if you guys ever want to like
Yeah.
collab. We did the Savannah Theater one time. We jumped on Truth and Evidence.
Truth and Evidence, Micah and John.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
Jumped on their public investigation.
Yep.
I did have the back of my shirt pulled. And it was like I was wearing kind of a fitted shirt. So when it pulled, it snapped back and I felt it.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Which was interesting. And that was in the dressing room stage. Was it? Okay, no. Right.
Was it the right of
No.
the stage
No.
or the left of the stage?
The left?
The dressing room with all of the mirrors.
To the right. of
No,
the
that wasn't.
stage.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was,
I think that's
I
right.
don't even think that was near the stage, was it?
I don't know. I don't remember. But anyway,
The
it was in
one
the
that
dress.
then there's the one that's in the front that has mirrors as well.
That one, the front one.
Mhm.
When you first walk, and then you've got to
And
walk.
that is actually the one where most of the women actually get most interaction because they
Yeah.
say that the theater conductor he was very mean and did a lot of horrendous things to women is actually he frequents that room. We didn't get anything in there, maybe because I am such a alpha female.
Well, I mean,
Well, we
my
had that
back
room
was
As
almost-
many call me, I'm very feisty and spicy. So-
I mean, my back was almost to the wall. I had my stepdaughter on my left-hand side, and then everybody was kind of circled around, and they were actually talking and trying to interact with. I believe his name is Bob.
Okay.
I feel like his name is Bob. And they were trying to interact and kind of spark him up,
Mhm.
and then it was just a quick like pull. And
Come
I
here,
felt
move out of my way. Yeah.
back.
That's the room I
Yeah.
had the funny feeling. I had a weird feeling here.
Yeah, that's
in
the
that
room that you had the crown chakra was just like going crazy on her.
Yeah.
I felt nothing in that room.
Yeah.
But
Probably
the
'cause she had her
backstage
stupid crystals
areas
in her pocket.
Yeah, I mean, she's like, you're not carrying any crystals with you anymore. I'm like, whatever. It
See,
worked.
I'm opposite. The backstage, they had spirit boxes go in with portals. They had REM pods up. Nothing really happened any right or left of the stage. I didn't hear anything. And then I think that we kind of humorously ended the investigation. We went to the stairwell, and there were some children that were on the investigation. And my stepdaughter, who is 15 now, she was 14 last year. She had her back like to the doorway to where you walk up to the stairwell. And bless her heart, she had to have been, 6 years old? walked up behind her and said in the littlest voice, "Are y'all getting anything?" And my stepdaughter screamed.
Aw.
Her mom
See, we didn't
screamed.
have
The mom-
anybody with us.
We had one couple.
Yeah,
I
we
would
had
like
two
to
people with
go.
us other than us two.
But I told Sean I would like to go back because I
Let
feel
us-
like there were
Let
so
us
many
know, and
stuff.
I'll get with Micah. I still talk with Micah quite frequently. Micah and John, they're great. Love Truth and Evidence. They're so funny.
Yeah.
And we'll plan something and get back over there because there's a couple other places I would like to do. We actually stayed at the Marshall House.
Nice.
So
Yeah,
we were there a week and a half, almost 2 weeks. We were in Savannah.
I love it.
During middle of COVID. Well, COVID was just ending, so
yeah.
we
I've
were
never
there in
been, so
2021. It's
Oh,
fabulous.
You going, Carol?
You
The
going?
food, if we want to talk about food, is excellence.
Oh my gosh.
You know, it
The
really
Clary
does.
Cafe. Oh my goodness. The Clary Cafe. Oh, I
I
love
haven't
their
eaten
food.
there. I haven't eaten there. We did
Oh.
eat at the Pirate's house.
See what we had what was that other one that we had down on the water?
Oh, on the water. What the?
And the lights were going crazy in there and everything. I can't remember. I'll have to look at it. But
See, we hit a little dive bar down by the water, and it was nice.
yeah.
Food
We
was
loved
great.
it. We loved it down in Savannah.
Yes, one is an oyster fool.
We
Me
are
too.
too.
We are too. We love us some oysters. Give me some raw oysters, saltine crackers. I don't need nothing else. Just give me a raw oyster.
You keep
Yep.
swallowing that snot.
Shuck them and suck them. That's the way we do it in the South.
Heck, I
Nope.
could shuck them.
I think you got a shirt from Savannah that says "shuck 'em and suck 'em" or something.
I got one from Florida. But yeah, Sixpence Pub is another great one. It is just absolutely phenomenal there. We love Savannah. So definitely a place we plan on getting back to.
All right, we will definitely get up and
definitely let's do it
plan that for sure. So before we let you go, I always ask everybody this number one question. If somebody wants to become a paranormal investigator and they're kind of a rookie at it, maybe they just watched a few TV shows, what advice would you give to them?
Carol, you want to take the first one? She's like, my neck hurts.
Well, of course, don't go anywhere by yourself, for one.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like you see on TV. It doesn't have to be at night. It can be in the day. Start out small. Use, like your cell phone. Use the recorder on your cell phone. Take pictures. Take videos.
Put your phone in airplane mode and see what you get.
Yeah. You don't need all the fancy things. It doesn't need to be dark. It doesn't have to be an old hospital. It can be anywhere. I mean, there's history everywhere. Something could have happened. You could be standing on the street. You could catch something because something happened there. What? 100 years ago. It
happened 10 years ago. Like you just never know.
That's good advice. I like that. Amy, do you have any advice for anybody?
I mean, I can touch on what Carol said. I mean, if you think you have to go out and look for some equipment, go to your thrift stores. They have tons of stuff. Most of the stuff you can find, you already have. You don't need to buy anything. And like she said, it doesn't have to be dark. I've had stuff happen to me in the daytime. Dark just adds the spook factor to it because you can't see nothing.
Yeah, I like that. Adds the spooky factor.
You got to have the spooky factor, but I do agree. Ghosts know no time.
Yeah,
exactly.
I think mine would be follow your rules and laws because a lot of places are banning investigators because of urban explorers just going in these locations without getting any proper, permissions to do so. And I mean, there's one that was a great location in Maryland, the Samuel Mudd House. Urban explorers were going there after they closed. And, some teens were going in there doing their ghost hunts and destroying things. And now it is a location that not even paid paranormal investigators can go in there and investigate. They knocked it all out. So I would say make sure you're getting your permission to be in these locations. And it doesn't have to be a location that you pay to go to. Just make sure you have the permission to do so.
Right.
Follow your local laws. And, number 2 is, make sure that you have, starting out, someone with you. It is very important to have somebody, and, do your research.
Safety in numbers.
Safety in numbers, for sure.
Absolutely. I 100% agree with that, safety in numbers. And gosh, I can second that follow your laws thing
Yeah.
all day long.
I'm not going to jail for them.
They're
not going to come bail me out.
in our early 20s, we would do that. We would,
Yeah, I'm too old for that.
But things have changed too. In our early 20s, we weren't out, breaking windows out of properties and, graffitiing everything. And, I know some places were, but I know small town folks, like if somebody in my hometown had saw me out destroying any property, whether it was historic or not, my mama knew about it before I ever walked in the front door. Like sheriff had already called her and said, we caught Crystal out here, blah, blah, blah. So it was instilled in us at a young age that you don't destroy something that isn't yours, and you don't destroy something that you've worked hard for yourself.
That's right.
So, just make sure you're being polite, respectful to the locations. Always say thank you for allowing us to be here, and respect those spirits, because they don't have to interact with you. And, a lot of times when you're not showing the respect to them, it, the repercussions sometimes can happen. So
that's right.
You like to be treated yourself,
Exactly.
Absolutely, Carol. I second that as well.
Absolutely.
So, guys, it's about that time. If you want to follow Ghost Hunting Housewives, what are your socials?
We have a link tree, but we do have TikTok. We have Twitter, X. Yeah. So, and then this QR code that's right here goes to all of our link trees, or to our link tree, and it has all of our links in it. It'll go to our website and our blogs and such as well, our event pages. So you can find us at Ghost Hunting Housewives.
Awesome. Everybody, you heard it here first. Ghost Hunting Housewives. We've got TikTok, Facebook. Give them a follow. If you like this podcast, give them a shout out, share it. We appreciate all the supports. The best support that you can give to a team is free. All you have to do is hit that share button.
Definitely.
So we appreciate having you on our show here at HCP Paranormal Podcast. We hope to have you back in the future.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
And I can't wait to meet you guys in person.
Come on down to the South. We're going to cook us some fried chicken, eat some oysters, and all kinds of good stuff. We're going to have some gumbo and some jambalaya and some boudin. So y'all come on.
All right. We are there. We are there. Ghost Hunting Housewives. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you guys.
Night. Bye.